Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi, Jacob. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How's your day going?
So far, so good. Just ended, so hopefully no interruptions.
Good. See any crazy things today?
No, just the usual. Couple injections here and there, couple motor vehicle incidents. I'm in a very particular niche in management.
Okay, so going off our last meeting, what can you tell me about 2.0?
So 2.0 of my PE box. Well, hopefully it's going to be out and about in January sometime, or probably in 2022. We're aiming for January. Couple of key points that it's going to have is going to obviously have all the latest information about all the schools. It's going to be a little more detailed than what the current PE box version is. It's going to allow you to, we're working on a blueprint tool that allows you to integrate all the schools that you're thinking of applying to all in one space. It's going to act like an interactive guidance counselor. So basically, the courses that one school may need against the next school is going to be taken out. There's not going to be duplicates. So depending if you have 10 schools that you want to apply to, it's going to sum up all the things together, take out all the duplicates, and kind of have everything there for you. And we'll point out what you're missing, what you're not missing. So you're not going to need to research too much.
I love it.
That's one
Okay,
aspect.
so I Googled myPAbox, and you
Right.
are known as the most comprehensive physician assistant program requirement tracking and organization tool.
Right. That's something that we are trying to. One second, phone call. That's something we're trying to do. Hopefully, that is something that we can um, achieve, and that's kind of like our goal.
So wouldn't you say the biggest thing is it's kind of like CASPA is not up to date, and these programs will notify CASPA that a prereq has changed, or like this morning I had a meeting with AT Still admissions counselor and they are exempting the GRE. And so, CASPA has to rely on updating itself, and that can take time. So information doesn't get updated and students are getting declined when, they're actually meeting the requirements as it looks, but
Right.
technically they are not meeting the requirements. And some students may never even know what, in their review on the file, it'll just take a lot of time to get answers with what
Right.
happened.
That's exactly right. So I wouldn't say CASPA is necessarily wrong, because I'm assuming that the schools that are on CASPA most likely relies on them and the information given to them from the school. That's information that they have available on CASPA. So the issue is probably that CASPA is not going to necessarily update that information throughout the year. I don't know that for certain. Again, this is an assumption, but that's my assumption that I don't think they update that information during the year. I feel like they update that right before the CASPA cycle opens up year to year. So
Mhm.
that's along the lines of what we do also, but we do have the ability to update the information throughout the year, especially if it's not something that myself and my partner are made aware of. And it's somebody that doesn't necessarily have to be a user, but they stumbled on myPAbox on a particular school and found a particular requirement to be either updated or needs to be updated. They can just let us know. And as long as we verify that change to the website or someone from the admission team, we can update that information. It takes me 2 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
And that obviously information is transparent throughout the whole program.
Okay. Okay. So would you say that myPAbox is basically weeding out the unaccredited programs that are listed on CASPA?
I wouldn't say it's weeding it out. It's allowing you to choose schools based on accreditation. So I'll give you an example. If you go on paea.com or I wouldn't say necessarily CASPA would not have those programs there, CASPA only puts on programs that are provisional or higher, meaning like they got a provisional accreditation, they either got a continued, they're on probation, etc. The three ones that you would really want to apply to. CASPA doesn't have any schools that are pending accreditation on there. Now, if you go on the ARC-PA, the ARC-PA is the accrediting body of each PA school. The issue that I have with the ARC-PA, or the issues that I have found, is there's a lot of programs that are trying to get accreditation or are listed as they're attempting to get accredited, and they don't actually have, nor are they developing a PA program. What they are doing is placing a title somewhere on their website that they have a pre-PA curriculum. What that really is, hey, they're telling you take these classes and you'll be able to get into a PA school, not that they have a PA school. So they're kind of getting that ad from PAEA and the RPA, but they don't actually have a physician assistant program. Does that make sense? Which to me is baffling. I don't know why that's even on the website. It's misleading. It takes me like 10, 15 minutes to figure that out. And if there's 15 programs on the RPA or PAEA that have this information, you're misleading pre-PAs. And pre-PAs honestly probably would not know this because they may not be able to tell the difference. And they're just wasting their time looking into that school when they really don't need to. They literally have no PA program, nor are they applying for accreditation or developing a PA program. They're literally just are calling themselves like a pre-PA curriculum, which is basically saying, hey, if you take chemistry, bio, anatomy, and physiology, which is again are the core basics for most medical professions on a graduate level, then you have a high chance of getting into PA school. Duh, we know that, right? But it's on professional, it's on national organization websites. This is what I don't see. How are they not filtering that out?
This is where you come in. You're so genius.
This is where we come in. But to be honest with you, that space is, listen, we found a very small niche that we realize there's a big problem, and we're trying to help as much as we can. But that doesn't take away the responsibility from these organizations in doing their own proper due diligence. Those certain schools' names should not be on your website because they don't fit your parameter. And obviously they're earning money by having information there and being a national kind of venue for these, for the physician assistant advocacy and trying to spread the word about it, get more knowledge on those people that land on those sites. But the problem is give proper information.
Right.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So, and CASPA actually has been doing that lately. They're giving you a lot of information on CASPA itself, which is kind of taken away from the PAEA, because that's really what they're supposed to be doing. But again, they're all working together, I guess, to better the PA community, which is good.
Can I ask you, why did you want to be a PA?
So for me, the honest answer is very simple. I was applying to dental school, and I didn't do too well on the DATS, which is the dental admission test. And the alternative was, do I want to retake it? Do I want to go to med school? Do I want to do something else? And I kind of, at that point, went and shadowed a few people. Like I went for dentistry because I want to go for dentistry because I was just by my parents, hey, just do it. I think you're gonna like it. This, that, it's safe. You know, it's stable, the whole nine. So after I didn't do well on the DAT, I kind of like, you know what, let me kind of go and shadow these like different medical professions and see what I'm about, see if I like it. And I stumbled upon the PA profession. Even though I knew about it before, I didn't really shadow anyone in the field. I really enjoyed shadowing one of my buddies who was a PA. He graduated, he was like 21 years old, as a PA. So he was like very knowledgeable. And so I shadowed him a few times. And because of my time scale, I didn't want to be in school for forever. So I decided to go for PA, and I had all the prereqs and the GPA and the whole nine. So I was a pretty good student in undergrad. And that's basically how I landed at Seton PA school.
Do you think that it's changed from your perspective and now? I mean, it's been we just celebrated our 50 years, I think in 2017.
I'm not sure when we did the 50 years, to be honest with you. That's news to
I
me.
Googled it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was, what year was it established? It was established in like 70 something. No, or
Uh,
was it
I
well,
thought it was, well, I think 64, but then it was established in the 70s. It's like, I think
right? It could be. I'm not certain. I know that there's like, I did these like fun facts on Instagram before. I have it somewhere earlier in our like feed. So it's definitely there. I stumbled on this fact. I just can't recall it. But honestly, I don't know what has changed since I've become a PA to now. I just realized that the application process has grown, and there's a lot more schools that are available to go to PA school. Um, at one point, like there's about 160, I think, med schools in the country. There's over 300 PA schools in the country. There's probably like another 20, 30 that are pending accreditation through RPA. So the PA profession is growing rapidly, in terms of just PA schools and in terms of the demand for physician assistant in the medical sphere, period. So those are two things that definitely increased. I would say that the autonomy, I wouldn't say necessarily that changed, especially in like New York. Maybe some other states have stronger autonomy than, meaning like you can open up your own practice with certain guidelines. That's what I mean.
Mhm.
Everywhere else, I feel like PA's practice pretty much the same, but in some urban areas, I feel like PA practice a lot more than they do in a team environment, just because there's not enough providers there. So I've spoken to PAs that don't have a medical facility in 100-mile radius of themselves. So that's pretty, and they serve basically 1,000 to 2,000 people. They're the ones really managing all their care. So I wouldn't say there's a big change from that regard, but those are key things that I've kind of noticed so far.
Okay. How do you balance stress?
Watch a lot of fun stuff.
I
So
feel like you're really funny.
oh, I wouldn't say that, but I don't think I'm that funny, but some of my friends do. So look, one of the things that I do for stress is I kind of, if I need to soak in the moment, like of why, what's causing the stress, I do that. I don't let it affect me the next day. I let it play with me that day. I let the emotions kind of like, I can get angry a little bit, which is fine. That's an emotion you need to go through it. I have no problem showing my emotions, but I do put a pause on them. I don't allow myself to those emotions take over me long term. That's one. Two, I like to, and I wasn't joking about like watching funny things. If I feel like I'm under a lot of stress or I'm anxious about something, I watch things that amuse me. So
Right.
to kind of like get my mind off of things, and that really works for me. Like those are some, you got to develop certain strategies that when you're in certain environments, you know how to kind of like step back and get yourself in the right state of mind again.
Mhm. Okay. Um, so I just had my meeting with AT still this morning. I think I told you, and they have rolling admissions. So